Talk to Shay Free?
Crazy?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, yeah. We do film a lot during the week on my games and stuff like that. So we talk a lot. But we came. I just saw him last week actually.
Yeah.
He came to my game in LA.
Okay. Yeah, I know he's been he
Hmm
told me he's been doing a lot of like film studies with
hmm
different guys and stuff like that.
hmm
What is the film studies usually like?
It's just a different perspective, more focusing on what you're doing personally. And when you're looking at it from a guy that you train with in the summertime and you work with in the summertime, and then you think about things, you're going through things that you guys are trying to build for the season. Obviously, when you get in a new system, obviously I wasn't prepared for all the systems that I've been in. You try to find ways to incorporate the things that you worked on into the things that you're asked to do on the team that you're with.
Hmm.
And that's a big thing because like I feel like a lot of times in my career, I would go in the summer, and which is another mistake, is not always like being in communication with the coaching staff. And how am I going to play next year? And like, let me make sure I work on that. But there's also just carryover of just merging the two. Like when
Hmm.
you work on things, you have to like get them into game situations and game like style and rhythm. So
Hmm.
sometimes like the things that you're working on may be right, but maybe not at the pace or at the rhythm or at the right little you need to get it off in the game. So the film study helps you with that, especially like how you run the floor. You're not like non-body communication and just certain subtle things that um, it's just an extra eye. I wouldn't even say that coaches on the staffs don't look at that, but just the perspective you get from the film that you usually get from your team is usually team driven.
Hmm.
But every individual comes together to make a good solid team. So that's all that really is, to try to perfect me.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and it's funny because I never really thought about it until I was talking to Shay. But it's like obviously your assistant coach is going to bring you a different kind of film and kind of show
Yeah,
you within the structure how to help the team, and you just explained it perfectly how
yeah,
something with your personal trainer could also kind of help you a little more
yeah,
individually reach the goals that you want. So
yeah.
no, that's kind of dope. That's super dope. Yeah, man. So, just real quick, I wanted to talk about. So, you're having a really efficient season in the G League, as well as even last year in San Antonio. What have you learned over the second half of your career thus far that has helped you produce so efficiently?
A lot of watching film and a lot of like playing basketball. Like I probably have worked out as much, or if not more, as I did at the point in time that I was like getting into the league. And a lot of it's like a lot of time. Like I haven't always been on a team. So I've had an extra 1 or 2 months to get extra shots up and clean up things that I feel like I could be individually better at to help my team success as well. But I got with a lot of good coaches, on these different teams, like, Nick Nurse, Fizdale, Will Hardy, and just learning the intricacies of their system and learning the things that translate to other teams and what I can do that consistently works to make me feel comfortable on the court. Once I get to a point that I'm comfortable, then I kind of just let my talent take over at that point in time. And, as a player at 27, which is, my ninth year at 27, like just bridging those gaps, obviously like, to with opportunity playing more games, there would be more film, but like just bridging those gaps from, early in my career to now the middle of my career. Um, I'm just happy that I'm kind of doing it, at a level, and I'm still in the process of that, you know what I'm saying? So it's different, but from a guy that people, always say that can't really shoot the basketball or play offense, like I don't feel like I am that player. If you look at the film and you kind of watch my game, I feel like I never have been, but I'm definitely, playing the game now and just learning how to roll, learning how to pop, learning how to drive, play off the catch, like different things with my talent level. Um, yeah, it's making the game pretty easy.
Yeah, nah, no doubt.
Hmm.
Real quick, does it show that do you see your name on the screen and that it's uploaded at a certain percent?
Uh,
Like on this,
at 97%, 98%,
it's it's
99.
okay, okay. It's not showing up on my end. I just want to make sure it was showed up on your end. Okay,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, we're good. Um, okay, and then so I just had a thought. Like, so how do you see yourself as a player, and which role do you think you best fit now, as opposed to like when you first came in the league? You know, how did you see yourself, and which role did you think you were best in?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I feel like basketball is changing so much. And like for me at this point, with my skill set, I think your skill set almost defines your role. Who you can guard and what your skill set is kind of defines your role in the NBA. Obviously, opportunity on what team is obviously available is a thing as well. Um, so now, like, I know obviously defensively, you got to be a monster. Energy, you got to be a monster. Making open shots, you got to be a monster. And just being responsible on the offensive end to, not be a playmaker, but not be dead. You know what I'm saying? Not like,
Mm-hmm.
if you get a closeout and you drive and you get to the rim and people collapse on you, can you make the pass to the corner?
Yeah.
Like, if you're a late clock in a two-man situation and the dude goes way under, can you stop behind and hit a three? Like, can you get in transition and, be in the top in the league, just one-on-one, one-on-two transition, like, as a wing, like stuff like that. I think earlier in my career, in Detroit, um, I'll try to keep this in bounds here, but it's more of a thing where I was square peg, square peg, circle hole. Like, they're trying to figure out what you can do, what you can't do, and also balance like the players that they have. Um, so it was different every year. Like you come in the first year, I was playing more two guard, coming off handoffs a lot. Me and Aaron Baines had some of the most efficient two-man game that year. And then go into the next year where in the summer, like I was asked to like be a little heavier and, be ready to guard Kevin Love and play more of a four position. And then mid-season, I think that was the year we got Tobias and Marcus Morris. So I kind of went back to the 3-2. Then the third year, I was kind of out of rotation, and I don't know. I was kind of playing more like I played my first year. And then the fourth year, before I got traded, um, I was back on the wing, but more as the only three. I was like the only three on the roster, so I was kind of playing more of like an intangible guy instead of a guy that was like using ball screens or using two-man game. And then crazy that season, you flip it. Then I started playing backup point guard for Alvin Gentry in New Orleans. So like kind of like high school, just a different way in a circle, right? And then the next year, I go to Toronto. I'm playing more forward center. Then I play center in LA. You know what I'm saying? So like right after that, so it's been a wheel of things. But like through that process, like David Fisdale was a guy that he coached me in LA, and I've known him for a while. Actually, just meet him through the hallways. I learned how to set and roll, and like learn how to pop and learn how to play actions as a big. So like now that I'm using actions as a small, I just see it so much differently. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? I just see like being a pass recipient instead of being the guy who's making the pass. Like, I just feel like I pass it differently. I just feel differently about the game. So it's been a blessing, having the opportunity to move around a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's funny, man. You just giving me so many thoughts because it's like number one, I feel like as a young player, when your expectations of your game just change so much. I mean, that's difficult, man. Like
Yeah.
it's difficult when you're expected to play a completely different role than when you come in. Like mentally, can you talk about like the challenges of that? Just trying to adjust to different coaching styles and different positions, and just trying to find your own idea, all while trying to find your own identity in the league.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it was never challenging. The process was never challenging. Like I always liked working out. I always liked being in the gym, and I always felt like I was getting better at the game. But just the business of my decisions, meaning like no like you're going through this process, and as you're doing things, it's like almost like, oh, you didn't get better at this thing, or this thing didn't turn the corner fast enough, so you're not playing as well, so you're not working hard now, or you're not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Or if something I was supposed to do or something I wanted to do, I wasn't prepared for it, and I'm kind of just frustrated that damn, like I wish I would have did this a little more. Or I wish I, knew about this a little more. And some things you just don't know as
Hmm.
well. Like as a player, you don't know. You as you get older and you get through the processes, you find better resources as well.
Hmm.
So, I think the mentality for me was what I never got down like on myself, because I always was getting better at something. Like, and I always was like trying to do the right things. So I knew when I go home at night, like I'm not going home like, oh my God, like I could have tried harder today. No, it never was. It just, you have to learn things at your pace. You have to do things at your pace. And I think a big transition for me was getting to Toronto, like, and getting resources like, Nick Nurse, OG Anunoby, Norman Powell, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, Jimmy Sand. I'm using the guys that I watch work every day, and like they're kind of closer to my age, and I'm seeing them do different things a certain way. I'm like, oh wow, that makes sense for me now. I can do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And having guys that are experienced working with younger players and like stuff like that, like it wasn't like it was different than Detroit, from as a young player, but it's also just the culture was different in general.
Hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And in some, I don't know, it's weird. Like, getting better at basketball is not, it's multifaceted. It's like mind, body, and spirit. Like, you have to like want to do the work. You have to receive the work. And it has to like, like come out in games. Like,
Hmm.
all three have to make sense. Like, usually if it just works the other way and you just do it in a game randomly, like it's something that won't stick long enough for you to actually use it when you need it. So, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So, it takes a lot to get better, especially tailoring your game to in an NBA game. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Especially that as a young player until you're confident in what you can do and what you can't do. And then you see guys like Pat Beverly, no matter where they go, they're always going to play the same way. They
Hmm.
make it work no matter what system they go into. And believe me, like, he's in different systems. Nick Nurse to Doc Rivers is two different things. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But Pat Bev is his game, and how he works at his game, he's ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, for sure, man. And much respect to guys like Pat. And I've always said too, a guy that doesn't get enough credit is like a Ish Smith. You know what I mean? Somebody that's been
Yeah.
all over the league, so many different systems, and
Mm.
he's effective. Like he gets in there, he gets his
Yeah.
paint touches, and he sprays the ball. But yeah, and another question I had too was like, I think especially guys around your age, you were kind of part of this whole transition from the league becoming such like a positionless basketball league. And
Yeah.
and I felt like, because I remember in my career I was playing overseas, and I had a player that used to play in the NBA, Quintel Woods, and he was a monster overseas, and he just didn't like playing the four. He was still stuck in like positions, like, because he's like, no, I'm a three, and I'm just like, bro, like, you just a fucking scorer. It don't matter where you are at on the
Yeah.
floor. Like, you got a four on you, you just as much. But I think that like sometimes players kind of get like caught into, positions, and just hearing you speak, being like, okay, well, I had to play a little bit of the four, and then I played the five, and then I was back up point
Hmm.
guard. You know what I'm saying? I think that is such a key for a guy, especially when you have to fill a role, just being open to fill any position
Yeah.
and learn that position, to the best of your
Yeah.
ability.
Yeah. I would say working like, for young guys growing up, you should work on your game. Like, work on your game, like the whole game. Don't just do one thing. It might cost you a job. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But obviously, like the cliche thing is, to get in the NBA, all you have to do is have one skill set or be good at one thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Be great at one thing. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can be good at other things as well. And I think, in this day and age, um, the pressure of being multi positional and multifaceted, like a lot of coaches are running systems where, you know, we can have a better conversation about it when I'm, done playing in this, because our system is kind of like this as well. I mean, when is this going to come out? When is this going to come out?
Probably within the next couple of days. But I can hold off on anything though.
But yeah, so like basically, like, a lot of teams are using guard to guard screens,
Hmm.
because it's so effective, right? And it's like in basketball, it's really hard to decide that when a dude's running up, if you're guarding the ball, as a guard and you have like a bigger guard like myself, we don't really want point guard switching on two guards or two guards switching on three guards. That's not really how it's set up to do it, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of bigs don't understand low man responsibilities because they never leave the paint. They only guard fives.
Hmm.
So it's like for a guy like myself who's Bruce Brown, right? Like I think he's the king of this, like one of the kings of it. If he learns how to do that, he becomes irreplaceable on the court because he always gets behind the defense. He's always attacking the rim. He's always at a 3-on-2 advantage.
Hmm.
And you don't need a skill to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to be fucking, I mean, sorry, I'm going to curse like that. But you don't need to be like, Allen Iverson. You just need to be a player that's going to understand concepts and be willing to roll. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's it. You also hit your three. You can also use pick and rolls. But even him doing that adds a layer to a team that it just makes it hard, hard, hard. So like a lot of teams are doing that. A lot of guards are doing that. A lot of guards are doing that.
Yeah.
So just as an example.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
that's super dope. But switching gears to the Americup, this is somewhat like a G League All Star team, and
Yeah,
you guys got a lot of talent, a lot of guys with NBA experiences. How have practices been early on as y'all try to prepare?
it's been good. We have a really good coaching staff. We have a lot of really good players, as you said. Some of the best guys in the G League and some not in the G League. Um, I think we're trying to get used to the rule change. Obviously, in the G League, and we have like a lot of freedom of movement that you get accustomed to playing to and playing with. Um, you know, Cuba's team is a really good team, and they play really hard, and they understand the rules, and they've played together before. So we're just trying to prepare ourselves to make sure we're the most prepared and ready for like all the concepts and the gimmicky things that the game kind of brings you that we're not used to. But it's been competitive, a lot of learning, a lot of teaching, but a lot of good basketball as well. So we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think like you know that's one advantage that other countries have over USA, especially in these FIBA windows, is like people don't understand like these other countries, they've been playing together for years. You know what I mean? They've had
Yeah,
like a nucleus and like,
yeah,
in our system, we're kind of just throwing guys, together, within
yeah.
like a week. How have you seen it be pretty easy as regards to like guys just kind of accepting their role and like how a role's like getting defined so quickly?
Yeah, it's not easy. Obviously, I mean, winning is not easy at any
Mm-hmm.
level. But I think we need to figure out a way to do it more consistent. Just as consistently or up to a higher par. Um, to me, I think basketball is a simple game with simple concepts, and even though we don't play on the same club teams, a lot of our concepts in America are very similar and the same. And we have a lot of great coaches, and a lot of these players have the same coaching house. So there's no reason, like, especially defensively, that's pretty simple. Go out there, play hard, understand concepts, communicate. Which is communicates the biggest thing. And I think for us, it's that's not an excuse for us that we're not going to use that as a crutch. That we only had 7 days, they've had 2 years, and X, Y, and Z. Like for us, it's we're going to prepare. We have these 10 days, and we're going to go out there and do what we have to do to win. Um, period. So it is difficult, but like I think things that when you speak about defining roles, like you just start out with that. Like there is no like what I'm saying, we're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll.
Yeah.
Um, so pretty simple. Like, and I think it's pretty since a short time makes it easy to do it as well. It's really convenient to just be like, hey man, we gotta get this out the way. So um, yeah, it's been cool.
Okay. And yeah, my last question is, man, like I think that representing your country, especially in the United States, isn't something that everybody gets a chance to do. So how would you, just describe like your excitement and getting this opportunity to, go out and perform on this stage?
Yeah, it's always exciting. I think I like the competition. I obviously like competing for my country. But when you wear, a USA jersey, you just have a huge target on your back. And it just feel I don't know. I'm just into the competition that way. Like I just like competing, especially when it's more on the line. Like you could put a teddy bear on the line. I would like it like a little more. So the fact that we're going to Cuba to play in their city makes it more entertaining. We do get a game here as well, but it's always nice to get a call. It's one of the most prestigious, basketball organizations in the world. It will forever be because of the heritage that it comes with. So for guys like myself who had a chance to play grassroots in it as well, now doing it as a grown man is it's always an honor.
Yeah, nah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Stan, I appreciate your time, brother, man, and
Likewise, bro.
good luck. Good luck.
Anytime, man. Anytime.